Hi, Luke here. So our episode ended up being like 3 times as long as we planned. So there won't be a proper ending this week, just some to be continued music. And we'll catch you next week for even more small monsters. Laters.
It caught on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
I'm Luke Summerhaze.
I'm James J. Miles.
I'm Andrew Rice.
I'm James the Jester Stewart.
And you're listening to Monster Mash.
And in this week's episode, we're hunting, well, pretty much most of the small monsters in the game. So I think we've got 16 in total you're going to be hearing about here today, so strap in for that.
Yeah, I've not included the guys like the Praise that we've already covered in big episodes. And there's a few that I'm saving for later, but should be fun.
But first off, we start Alteroff. Insects that widely inhabit many areas. They absorb fruit, mushrooms and honey, and then carry them back to their nest. Materials can thus be collected from their swollen abdomens, whose colour is related to what they're carrying.
Big ants, innit?
I really like
Yeah.
these guys, like the fact they can they all swell up when they,
Yeah,
when they
they-
get the mushrooms.
There's that quest in Generations where you have to let them eat the mushrooms and then kill them to get
Yeah.
like the... Which is a thing that real ants do. They take food back to their nest to grow mushrooms.
But do they turn them into different mushrooms when they eat them?
Do
Well, no, they
store them?
take stuff, just any old bits of food, and use it to grow a mushroom. So sort of.
But do they store
Okay.
them in their like little back sacks?
No, I don't think they grow the mushrooms inside them. Apart from that mushroom
I
that
like
takes
that.
over ants and makes them zombies.
What?
They must have seen that.
What are you on about?
With-
There's a mushroom that takes
You're
over an
right,
ant's
yes.
body and makes it climb up high.
Oh, like the the cordyceps.
Yeah.
Like from Last of Us almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on. I know what you're on about. Well, thankfully these guys are not zombie ants.
They're not that
You
fucking
ever noticed as
terrifying.
well when you're carrying like certain items, like they'll chase you down?
Mm.
Yeah, like I think if you start picking some of the mushrooms though, they get really pissed off and start trying to
Really?
attack you.
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can hit you with defense down as well.
I did see a fun little video of someone who just stood still in front of them and let them push him across the area. It's on YouTube as like Outeroth Taxi or something.
Alteroff. You're gonna have like a plethora of links in the links of interest bit today, I think.
Yeah, oh yes.
It says they absorb like fruit, but I've only seen them like take mushrooms and occasionally honey.
I guess maybe
there's
they
not
could
a
do the
lot of fruit
berries.
like
Fruit,
that,
but
to
assume
be
the
fair.
fruit will be like little berry like spots that
Okay,
you get
yeah.
on the desert
Yeah.
island.
It's just
That's
flavour
fair.
text, Jay. It's a bit of flavour text.
No, I want it to be accurate to the game. Do they really change colour like when they depending on what they're carrying as well?
I don't know. I haven't been
Yeah,
paying
they,
enough
they,
attention.
They can either get a blue like tail bit or a grey tail bit, I'd say. So it does actually depend which mushroom's in there. That is a
Alright,
fact.
after we're recording, I'll go and do an Outeroth quest on the fucking 60-inch TV on Double Cross, and we'll have a look.
They're pretty cool guys, but one of many little insects that just serve there to bug you more than anything else. No pun intended.
It definitely was. Antica.
Oh,
Ooh.
Ooh.
I didn't know if I was read to my own one though. That was confusing. Right. Herbivores that live in cold climates. Generally docile, though they have been known to attack when threatened. Their high-quality pelts have many uses, and their antlers are highly prized by the guild. Simply stun the creatures to easily harvest one.
I'll be honest, I forgot these guys were even in the game.
Basically,
Little-
the Arctic Ridge version of the Kilby.
Yeah, little
Winter Kelpie.
reindeer, isn't it?
Yeah.
How could you? Yeah, have you not done? Oh, I was probably thinking. It's only because I've done the quest quite recently. Where I had to gather stuff from them. But yeah, I remember them.
I
They're
remember that
fantastic.
they're a thing, but yeah. There is a bit of interesting chat to have, but we should probably wait for the Kelby because they're the one that people actually think about.
Hmm.
And these are basically just winter Kelby, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you just made me introduce a fucking knoll monster.
Deers.
Have you got a load of exciting, interesting stuff to say about the Anteca, Andy?
Yeah, they're sweet, and I would like one as a pet.
It's the Apceros. Desert-dwelling herbivores covered in tough plain, highly territorial and known to tirelessly chase any who enter their habitat. They are especially hostile towards hunters who have made a practice of stealing eggs from their nests.
These guys are dicks. I hate
Yep. I was about to say, like, they're the first small monster that's like truly annoying when you're trying to fight a big monster.
They're just suicidal. Like they'll go like they fight like I'm thinking the area. You know what area I'm about in the dunes map? Yeah, like the kind of one
Hmm.
that's got ledges. You'll fight a Tigrex in there, and they'll just
Mhm.
barrel in and get like mauled by the Tigrex, just trying to kill you. They're just awful.
Given that hunters are stealing their eggs, though, like they've got every right to be upset.
I've never taken their eggs.
Yeah, you've done egg
Yeah,
quests.
right. Yeah,
Not their
right.
eggs.
How'd you know?
I don't actually know if that's true.
There is a herbivore like egg quests, so you probably have.
These are the guys that are basically Ankylosaurus. But I quite like having the herbivores around, which are basically just the same as real life dinosaurs. It
Of
just
course you do.
makes yeah, but it just adds a bit of flavour to the world, doesn't it? I'd prefer that than if there was just like fucking cows and shit knocking about.
I mean,
I would love.
I
if
would
there was
like
a-
cows. So you've really fucked that one up, haven't you?
But it just makes it make sense
Yeah.
that you've got like fucking wyverns and dragons knocking about if it's just a world where there
We've
are
already got deers anyway, right? Like,
a full
just
ecosystem of dinosaurs.
We want cows. We want cows.
You've already got a cow though. You got the Rajai. He's basically a cow, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always dinging that
Yeah.
bell.
Yeah. Got horns, isn't he? He's a big cow monkey.
Yeah, forgot that we spoke about that on a previous cast about the Rajan. That the fact he's just based on a Highland cow.
Next up is the Aptonoth.
Whoa!
Aptonoth, relatively docile herbivores with characteristic crest plates. They form herds and raise young communally, and have been used as pack animals for generations. Their meat is tasty and nutritious, and they're very cautious around large monsters.
That they've been used as pack animals for more than just generations. Hey!
Oi!
Oh, boo.
Someone had to make that joke, and it was me.
These guys are basically the series like whipping boys, isn't them? Like they're in the very first like opening cutscene, just getting like mauled
Mhm.
by like Velociprey.
Or like
And
picked
then-
up by a Rathalos.
Rathalos, yeah, the Rathalos comes and like picks one up, just like takes it away, and like starts feeding it to its young.
I felt
They
good
live a
for the
very
lads.
nice life,
I felt good for the
Rathalos.
lads when they got to actually do some
Oh,
fighting
yes.
back in stories.
They're still shit.
That's true.
stories.
That is
Yeah.
I
true.
don't know
Oh,
about
no,
you guys,
man.
but they're
That's
also like
alright.
they're usually the first monster I test a new weapon out on.
No, I've never done that because I'm not that
Well, you're running
cruel.
past through the zone and you're like, oh, there's an Aptonoth, I'll just test it out. May as
I
well
mean, I
get
know
meat
how the
after
weapons
that.
are gonna work.
Yeah, like, I know that every weapon's going to
Or
kill
just
it
like
in
a
one or
cheeky
two
charge.
hits, so why would I bother?
Charge up a file in my charge blade or like collect an extract from inside
No.
blade.
You sound like a psychopath.
Yes.
Don't know about you guys, but when I see like the neighbourhood cats, I just go and like kill them, just like cut them up, put them with a knife.
Just to see how it feels, just to see how it feels.
Just to watch the life drain out of their eyes. And makes me feel
Why not
alive,
test it with your lawnmower somehow.
Oh fuck!
The other thing with the Aptonoth, I think they're like the first monster you actually see in like the first Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
Because a couple of like 4 does it as well, and then Generations does it with a different monster. But you always have that opening cutscene where it's like lots of dramatic music, and you step into a field and there's dinosaurs everywhere, and it's like, wow, it's a world full of big dinosaurs. But by the time you get to the end of the game,
To
they are
Jurassic Park.
it's literally that moment.
Yeah.
But like at the point where we're at, they might as well just be ants. Like you stop forgetting that they're great big dinosaurs when you remember. No, you can kill them in 2 hits.
Might as well just be cats to a lawnmower.
One of the things I found on YouTube was just some guys uploaded a clip of just a really fucking big Aptonoth.
You used to have that. That's an interesting point because we're talking about small monsters. They used, I don't know if they brought it back for Double Cross or if it's always been in the game, but they used to have like you could have big small monsters.
Hmm.
The sizes were very variable for the small monsters.
I mean, they've always.
Well,
had,
yeah,
like,
with like these ones,
I've always taken that as a family unit thing more than.
Yeah, they always
Yeah,
do
you-
that like with the Aptonoths and the
you get like the dad, the mum, and the young sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But like this is just one that happened to be exceptionally big.
Size of a devil Joe.
Yeah, because a lot of them aren't aggressive until you hurt the kid, and then they run over, which is a nice little thing.
Who's the psychopath now? Hurting the kid.
Oh, yeah,
Killing the
sometimes-
lead and let
Large, to
the
be fair.
young one go free.
Sometimes I need steak.
That's how you get Batman, Jazz. Next up is the Banabra, pervasive flying insects that attack invaders with paralyzing venom and lay eggs in carrion, along with a fluid that hastens decomposition. It is best to kill them with poison, so that their parts are left ripe for the carving. I hate these guys as well.
They're Do you remember when me and you made fucking Toinkers and Breens do a 50 Banabra crest with us?
I like the fact that you're introducing them to the podcast as if they are like old friends, not just some randoms that you've met online.
Me and Jay had a great night on Monster Hunter Generations where we just played with two randos. And Jay was deliberately throwing up quests that he didn't think they would join us on, and they did, and they were top blokes.
Yeah, they were really good.
They came and
one of
killed 50 Banabras with us.
Yeah, one of them even like I'll get a bow gun and everything, and just like so we could actually shoot them out the sky. It was great, good, great stuff. Great stuff.
But yeah,
Game
they are a
is
pain in the ass to deal with.
Exceedingly cruel for making you fight 50 of them, and then like 50 of those bugs. It's just why would they do that?
Fucking Barbaras.
I mean, it is quite useful for getting the parts, but
Those
Yeah.
quests, like the quest could easily be 30 though. Like, let's be honest, like you do 20 solo quests and then they bump it up to 50 for some reason.
yeah, it's true.
Do you know what I've always thought they look like?
What's that?
The Virtual Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
kind of
I
see
see
it. I
that.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
but like I think the best thing about them though is like they're good for a really early like armor set, which is like the suit with the top hat.
Oh yeah. I've got that in equipped.
It's
in,
actually they actually got
stories.
decent skills on it as well.
Got that in stories right away. One of the first
See.
sets you can get.
Yeah, you look really fancy in that. I enjoyed it.
hmm The description of them makes them sound like actually really quite sinister. Like
Yeah,
the
they
like
do
blade.
paralyse you as well. So
That's
Is
just
that-
annoying.
Is that the
Yeah,
game?
that's not sinister. Yeah,
that is though because they're clearly up to something and want to paralyse you so they can do something to you afterwards. Maybe lay your eggs inside your brain.
Is that the game trying to explain why the bodies disappear so quickly?
What is it?
Yeah, the Banabras have put the poison in them, so they decompose.
Along with a fluid
like
that hastens
a
it,
minute.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, that's why you want to kill 50 of them, because every monster you kill becomes a Banabra.
There's a Banabra problem in 3 Ultimate then because like monsters would despawn a hell of a lot quicker in that game.
Yeah, there's just so many Banabras going about with their fluid. There is nothing worse though than fighting a big monster and then suddenly a Banabra like lazily floats towards you and jabs you and paralyzes you, get mauled by a big attack. It's so annoying.
It does look pretty funny though when you see it happen
It's
to someone
funny,
when they just
yeah.
fucking drop to their knees right before they're about to hit a big monster.
It's funny when it happens to someone else, as with many of life's things.
Gargoyle. Flightless bird wyverns with vestigial wings, known to inhabit the Jurassic frontier. Quite timid, gargoyle have been known to lay eggs when other creatures surprise them from behind. They are raised as livestock in numerous villages.
I love
I
these guys.
really like these guys. They're funny.
Are they new?
I think they're
No,
in
they've
3,
been-
weren't they?
Try?
Yeah, three Ultimate maybe.
Just
Yeah,
because
well,
it brings
Or
up
like
the
Portable
Jurassic.
Third, possibly.
Yeah,
Introduced in Monster Hunter Portable Third.
Yeah, Portable Third, yeah, because like they rock about in the Misty Peaks area, so.
Yeah, just because it brought up the Jurassic Frontier in that description there, just that's obviously the new area. So
Yeah, funny fucking emu-looking things.
yeah, they're really funny. I like the egg quest you have for them where you obviously get like the golden eggs and everything. But
You can make like a gargoyle mask as well.
I like the golden
And the
eggs a
game
lot
will-
less when I get them and I need the normal eggs.
Hmm.
That's quite annoying.
do they not count?
No.
That is a pain.
But cash money. But even their little sprite is funny. Just like the back of them, and it's looking around like, what?
It could be monster, like kind of like a comedy small monster almost, I suppose you could say.
Oh yeah, the fucking stupid run they do when you spook them and stuff. They're brilliant.
Yeah, it's
The
funny
noise-
when you see like 3 or 4 of them doing that.
The noises they make as well, like kind of like the quacks when you,
Yeah.
when you give them a shot.
Yeah, the helmet you can make of them as well also does that. Like anytime you roll,
That is
Amazing.
funny.
Yeah.
That is so good.
It's making me want to go make that right now.
Basically, like they get like chicken off them as well, more or less, don't you? Or
Yeah.
just raw meat.
I know they drop like guano as well. Apparently,
Hmm?
Chinese, apart from the eggs.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes if you don't get egg, they just make them shit themselves.
Yeah.
Big daft birds, eh? Big daft birds. What does vestigial mean again?
That means that they've still got it, but they've evolved out from using it. So it's just
So they're just idiots.
yeah. So it's got a bit of wing, but it can't actually use it for anything. It's just it hasn't completely evolved it away
It
yet.
uses it to run, or at least it tries to. The Hornator, a Vespoid-like monster, but with a thicker shell. Easily damaged, there are rarely any usable materials left to harvest from them once killed. But if you could sap their health gradually... ...
These are the
what I mean
ones
by
that hop a lot. Yeah, you had no idea.
Little
No idea.
hoppy bugs.
Yeah, hop around in the ground. Usually you have to fight 50 of them as well, along with Vespoids, which we won't be talking about this time. But yeah.
Yeah, just
No,
another bug.
it's never 50 Hornetaur.
It's like
I don't
50
think I've ever
Hornetaur
done
and Vespoid, that was a quest.
Yeah, you can mix and match.
that. No, okay, maybe it's in single player, it's like
Yep.
20 Vespoid and then Hornetaurs.
No,
and
it's
stuff.
definitely.
I remember
50
because we'd done
Hornetaur
that
Vespoid.
quest one time, Andy, and like you got so mad because you thought I was killing a Vespoid. Like out of the sky, but it was a little Hornetaur like dropping, like just spawning in.
Yep, yeah, that's it.
I can imagine Andy getting...
He's like,
Getting
no!
grumpy.
And I'm like, what?
The thing is the other way around, because I really needed Hornetaur parts, and Hornetaurs are fucking rare little bastards. I hate
Yeah,
them.
might have been. Yeah.
Are they only
Stuff
in the
like that.
marshlands?
I think so. They're not around much.
And they're quite rare, aren't they? Like again, they're like a monster much like the Anteca that I don't really. Like if you asked me to list off all the small monsters, this would be one I'd probably forget towards the end.
Apparently its title is The Hidden Jungle Clouds.
What?
I don't know.
the hidden jungle what?
Clouds.
Clouds.
I mean, I can see how they're hidden. Like they are, they are difficult to see.
Maybe
said
maybe it's
what?
implying that there's
Yeah,
swarms
yeah.
of them, but...
I thought you said clown.
No.
I mean, that's not any more relevant than Cloud, to be fair.
True, exactly. Well, you get like clouds of. You can see like a swarm of insects, maybe like a
How do
black
you know?
cloud.
How do you know Hornetaurs aren't funny, Andy?
Have you ever sat down and chatted to one?
That's true. I
Well,
have not.
they have-
Maybe if your reaction was to engage with the Hornetaur instead of always turning to violence. Next up is Sun Heung-min, a South Korean professional footballer who plays as a winger or a forward for Premier League club Tottenham Hotspur and the South Korea national team. He signed for Tottenham for £22 million, becoming the most expensive Asian player in history.
Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
So-
He can play with both feet, so...
He is. That's a real skill quality of this small monster. I found that he's got those. It's not ambidextrous they call it, like foot, whatever it's called. But yeah, very strong foot. Very strong foot.
Pedgerous?
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
ambiambulous.
Yep.
But yeah, nice lad. Got a good future ahead of him, I think.
I think so as well. Yeah. What area does he appear in again? Is it?
Well, at the moment, you haven't got a proper stadium, so it's just Wembley, but they're building a new stadium for next year.
Right, got you. Was it White Hart Lane used to be?
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah. Not seen that area in a Monster Hunter for quite a while.
No, I don't think it was in one that came to the west.
No, I don't think so either. Next up is the Kelby. How do you
I've,
say the word?
I've got two entries for this one because it changed loads from like the one it had in 1 and 2 and the one it had in 3 onwards.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Herbivorous, deer-like monsters. Valued for their horns, they tend to run away at the first hint of danger. They are also hunted for their meat, which is chewy but flavourful. And the second entry, small herbivores known for their gentle demeanour as well as medicinal properties of their horns. Those wishing to harvest the horn should stun the Kelby with blunt attacks and then sever it while the animal is still alive.
I can't actually decide which of them is most fucking violent.
Well,
No, but I'm really up for some Kelby meat after that. Jeez. Whoa.
Chewy and flavourful.
Like a nice, what's it called?
venison.
Chewing gum.
Oh, venison. No, I was thinking... Venison's much more fancy than what I was thinking, which is jerky.
a nice raspberry chewing gum.
Deer-flavoured chewing gum.
So this is the thing, isn't
Sure,
it?
he's more of a goat than a deer.
No, it's a deer. Come on.
It's definitely a deer, because deer are sacred in Japan. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, but it looks a bit
Is
like
that why
a
they
goat.
don't? They're always invincible and they never die. They just.
Yeah.
Well,
They
that's-
do die now,
They
don't
do,
they?
no, they
do.
used to die and now they don't.
Well,
No, they do again. They die.
They do again now in Double Cross, yeah.
Double
Alright.
cross, yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole weird thing. Because there's like parks in Japan where there's just deer wandering about and you're not allowed to hurt them.
Yeah, but
Because
they don't look like deer. They look like
do!
fucking.
They
They
fucking
look
do.
like goats.
They prance around like
definitely look
bandits.
goats.
what are you on about?
I'd say they look like. I'm agreeing with Andy. I think because like the Anteca are clearly more deer-like. And
Well, there are different
Kelby
kinds
are
of
so
deer.
much smaller. Like they definitely have horns. Like they definitely have like deer-like qualities, but
That is a
Just thinking
deer's
it says
face.
deer
Definitely
like
goats. They're goats. Fuck off. This is worse.
It
than the
literally
fucking
calls
Double
it a deer-like monster in the
Meh.
description.
It's a goat.
Eagle. Yeah, that's an old description.
This is going to be the last episode of Monster Mash, folks, where we fall out over where the Kelby is.
The Kelby fall out.
Gonna split into 2 podcasts from this point onwards. Goat edition and deer edition.
Excellent.
But we're going to have exclusive monsters in them, so you have to listen to both.
Definitely a fucking. But it's also doing that fucking weird Pokemon thing where it calls it a deer-like monster. So does that mean that real deer exist in the Monster Hunter world as well? Like how Pikachu is the mouse
Let's move on.
Pokemon, so does that mean there are mice?
Maybe we shouldn't read too much into it.
No.
We've already established that this description is a bullshit anyway, haven't we, earlier? So
That's true.
Yeah, we've
let's not live and die by them.
But the Kelby, whether they are deer or goats, are like. They're clearly meant to be a little bit sort of like magical and sacred within the Monster Hunter world. The fact that you're not meant to kill them and they're very peaceful and they float in and float away sort of thing.
Mhm. I mean, you don't even get to attack them, I'm thinking, in stories.
And
you
obviously,
can
the
just-
horns have like healing properties as well when you make the Hellthorn like from
Yeah.
Kelby horn.
But like in stories, you like run up to them and like they just fade away and leave an item.
Hmm.
You don't even get like a battle with them. And then obviously you just have to stun them and
Yeah,
generations.
Kelby as a monster in stories, that'd be awesome.
Maybe it would just be too
It's
OP.
a Kelby that spews poison.
No, you just get the Kelby drone, the Kieran.
Wait, so we're now saying it's a fucking horse.
Yeah.
No, the fucking Kieran is a deer, Andy.
I'm the
Oh yeah, my bad.
Oh, so you're saying the Kelby's a deer?
No!
No, the Kieran's a goat. The Kieran's a goat.
On to the next one, I guess.
Well, I was gonna say, I wonder if there was a thing that like people were offended by the fact you could kill the Kelby in the old ones, and that's why they took it out for a while.
Maybe it's a weird choice, isn't it? Like I always thought it was a Western thing because obviously I've only played the Western.
Because
game
we all
before Double
fucking
Cross.
love goats and we don't want to kill them.
And then when you're able to kill the deer-like monster and in Double Cross, I thought that was Japan like killing Kelbys and deer.
That is what I thought at first. To be fair, yeah.
But who knows?
Right.
It's pretty fucking
Country.
brutal though. Like where you
Oh fuck you! I
where you,
wanna
like,
move on.
sever it while they're alive though. That is brutal.
Yeah, that's pretty grim.
I would say that's worse.
Do they have feelings in the horns?
Like they probably like use it to like impress like lady Kelbys.
Yeah, and I mean like
They don't have
you're not meant
horns.
to like. It's bad that
Oh,
we
we
do it
should
to
also
rhinos.
mention as well, if we're still talking about the Kelby, that some are blue and some are green.
Yeah, I think isn't it meant to be one colour is male? And yeah, that was female.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
they're
just like
pretty.
blue deer and green deer.
There you go. Green goat.